A genuine love for God naturally, without hesitation, naturally expresses itself through compassion and action toward others. And so let's go through these 4 points that were listed in that overview. So what good is it? This is the question. What good is faith without works? Well, the news is that it's not really good at all. In Matthew chapter 7, verse 16, it says, you'll recognize them by their fruit. If you continue reading in 17 through 20, it says, likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the lake of fire. Thus, by their fruit, you will recognize them. So true faith and love for God will always, always have something to show for it. It is evident, it's clear to everyone around them. Just some very, simple examples of faith in action or love in action that we've seen here. Consider the many brothers and sisters who recently helped our sisters Martha and Ellie when they were going through their loss. Let's close those doors. That was kind of weird. It was like God talking in my ear. Or consider the members of the Spanish ministry. So for those of you who don't know, there are members that come here every single week, multiple times a week, to clean the bathrooms. And they do that willingly, voluntarily. Or consider the many brethren who help with the grounds and the facilities. I mean, I've mentioned this before. It's not like it's magic where someone waves a magic wand and this building all of a sudden is ready for everyone to worship in. There are many people involved in making sure that we can have Bible class right now. And they're here doing that out of love and putting that love into action. So ask yourself this question. If someone watched my week, this week, would they see that love in action? Or would they just see a nice person? Oh, he's such a nice brother. He's such a good guy. Or she's such a lovely lady. Don't deceive yourselves into thinking that being nice or being charming equates to loving others. Love is an action. Or as John Mayer once said, love is a verb. It is not a feeling or an emotion. So how easy is it to say to someone, go in peace, stay warm, be well fed, right? It's easy to say that. So let's just think about a simple example, or maybe an extreme example of what this looks like today. So just imagine you're driving home on a cold winter night and you see a car on the side of the road and you notice it has its hazard lights on, and you also notice that it has a flat tire. And there's a woman outside who's attempting to change the tire, and she's shivering, she's freezing, she's got 2 small kids in the back seat. So you pull over, you roll down your window, and you say, wow, that looks rough. You yell out to her out the window. I really hope you and the kids stay safe and warm and get home quickly. I'll be praying for you. Take care. And then you pull off and you leave. I mean, that's crazy. No one would do that. That's crazy, right? But yet sometimes we do this with our brothers and sisters here in the body. And let me try to explain how. Maybe you've asked a brother or a sister, how are you doing? And they say something like, not great. And you can just see it in their face. And so now you're thinking to yourself, oh boy, this is going to be a long conversation. I got to get my kids to this game. I got stuff to do later. And so you say to them, listen, bro, don't worry. I know times are hard. I'm praying for you. God will make a way. You may even be tempted to sing them the song, God will make a way, right? Anything to keep them from telling you their problems, right? And sharing their problems with you and extending that conversation. Words alone will not help them. You need to take action. Love is an action. You may very well be the answer to the prayer, to their prayer, and God is sending you to answer that prayer, even if it means being inconvenienced. 1 John 3:16 through 18 is a sobering text. I'll read the full text here. It says, this is how we know what love is. Jesus Christ laid down his life for us, and we ought to lay down our lives for our brothers and sisters. If anyone has material possessions and sees a brother or sister in need, but has no pity on them, how can the love of God be in that person? Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. To love like God, it is going to cost you. It is going to cost you time, it's going to cost you comfort, and it's going to cost you resources. Are you willing to love like this? That is the challenge tonight. Can you and will you love like this? And so here's the heart of the matter. Faith is dead by itself. If you claim to have faith, but works don't follow it, your faith is dead. So ask yourself this question: when was the last time I went out of my way, where I spent time, comfort, or resources to help a brother or a sister or a stranger? If it wasn't recently, you should be praying to God and asking him to put you in a situation where you can be used in this way. Why? Because God is calling us to love sacrificially. This is ultimately the example Christ did. Did Christ love you sacrificially? It's a rhetorical question. The answer is yes. And so when we committed our lives to Christ, we made a commitment to be like Christ, or to become like Christ. In order to become like Christ, we need to love in this way. We need to love sacrificially. Isaiah 58, 6-7 says, "Isn't this the fast I choose? To break the chains of wickedness, to share your bread with the hungry, to bring the poor and homeless into your house?" I love this point that it's making here, because it's basically saying, how can we call ourselves religious or Christians, but have no fruit to show for it? And so, what does that look like today? So someone, who comes to church every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Friday, they read their Bible every day, they pray every day, but zero concrete or practical action that comes from true faith. Is that possible? Is it possible to come to church every week, pray every day, read the Bible every day, but not put your faith into action? Yes. Otherwise, we wouldn't be reading this text. Right? This is the point. We need to put our faith into action. We need to extend our Christianity outside of our home and outside of these four walls to help those in need. There are tons and tons of opportunities to do this, whether it's in your local neighborhood, whether it's here at church, numerous ways where we can show our love in action for God and for people. And we need to really open our eyes and look for these opportunities. They are there. Every day, every single day, I can almost guarantee you will be presented with an opportunity to show God's love. You need to be willing to open your eyes and your ears, and you need to pray to God to keep your eyes open and reveal to you how you can fulfill what God has called you to do. We need to seek those opportunities out. As it says, we are the hands and the feet of Christ. In Matthew 25:40, Jesus said, when we serve our brothers and sisters, we are serving our Lord Jesus himself. It's an honor. It is our calling to help those in need. Are you willing to accept that calling? Well, you did when you confessed Jesus as your Lord and Savior and were baptized into Christ. Pedro went over this slide on Sunday. It was a really important point. We can't do this by ourselves. We also can't solve world hunger. We can't solve every single problem that this world has. So we need to be intentional about what we're doing, right? And how we're serving one another and how we're serving the Lord. And so there are ways you can do that. You can team up with people to solve a certain problem, right? You can really pray, again, like I said before, just pray for God to reveal to you what it is that he wants you to be a part of it, whether it's ministry or in a moment serving someone and helping somebody in need. And as Pedro shared, right, it's just starting with that one starfish. You're not going to save millions of starfish, but if you save one on that day, that's a good start. And we need to make sure we're not feeling overburdened or just being distracted because there's so many problems in this world and it just ends up paralyzing us where we do nothing. And another great point here is always check your motive for why you are doing something, right? Are you serving, because it's out of love, truly out of love and out of faith, or are you serving for recognition for yourself? Let the love of Christ compel you to put your faith into action. We've got a video coming up next. I'm going to just set the scene, and then the AV team will play it. We're talking about the ultimate perfect example of love, right, in Jesus Christ. And what better example to follow than his example? And so this clip that we're about to see comes from the series The Chosen. The Chosen does a fantastic job just kind of taking Jesus' character and putting it onto a screen. And this text, or this clip, is coming from Matthew 8, 1 through 4, which is just a short text describing the time when Jesus healed the leper. And we're going to see Jesus' character portrayed on this video, and really what love in action actually looks like. And as we watch this video, I just want you to put yourself in the place of the leper, right? And that's just basically representing someone who is in desperate need of help, someone who needs the love of God to come to them. And so let's take a few minutes, let's watch this video, and then we'll come back to the slides.
Not to spoil this beautiful day or anything, huh? Come on. Huh?
It's a leper. Stay back. Cover your mouth. Don't breathe his air. Don't come any closer.
It's okay, John. It's okay.
Rabbi, you cannot. His disease. You...
Please. Please. Please don't turn away from me. I won't.
Lord, if you are willing, you can make me clean. Only if you want to, I submit to you. My sister, she was a servant at the wedding. She told me what you can do. I know you can heal me if you are willing.
I am willing. Be cleansed.
Thank you. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. What can I ever do?
Do not say anything to anyone.
You don't seek your own honor?
Please just do me this one thing.
But what do I tell people?
Go. Show yourself to the priest. Let them inspect you and see that you are cleansed. Make the proper offering in the temple as Moses commanded. And go on your way. Who has an extra tunic? Just one of you, just one of you. That's enough. Green is definitely your color. Not too shabby.
audio was a little off there in the app, so you can take a look at that later. But I just wanted to quickly go through the detail of this interaction, because it's really important to understand what true love in action actually looks like, as we saw in Jesus in that example. So first of all, Jesus stops what he is doing. So if you don't know that scene, or if you've never seen that episode, Jesus is on his way to Nazareth from Galilee. It's about a 1 to 2 day walk. So I'm pretty sure he's on a very tight timeline. And so when the leper comes, you clearly see him stop everything that he's doing, and he goes to see what's going on with this man, right? So that's a great example for us to follow. So we may have a million things going on in our lives, but if someone needs help, we need to stop, right? This is our ministry. We need to stop and think about helping this person. He rebukes the disciples with a simple hand gesture, reminding them why he's there. So if you saw, the brother that was on his right was the beloved John. He had a knife in his hand because the leper was approaching, and he rebukes them. And he basically tells them, this is my ministry. You're not going to stop me from doing my ministry. Think about all the distractions in your life that prevents you from doing the work of God. We need to rebuke that from our life. We need to stop it and not let it disrupt our love in action. Jesus approaches, right? So he could have, easily from afar just said, you're healed, right? We've seen it. We've read him doing that, right? With the centurion and the servant, right? He can heal from afar. But instead, Jesus chooses to approach the leper despite the diseased man, right? It's another great example of what love looks like. He listens and comforts. So Jesus didn't just approach the leper and solve the problem, and then off he was on his way to Nazareth, right? He actually took the time to listen to what the leper had to say. Even though Jesus probably knew exactly what was going on, he still gave him that space and that time to kind of share what he was feeling and what he was thinking. And then he showed comfort towards him, right? He even acknowledged the pain, and you could see it on Jesus's face, right? That compassion that was coming out of him. And that's the next one, showing compassion. Jesus genuinely felt sorry for this man. Even though he knew he was about to heal him a second later, he still felt compassion toward that man. Jesus kneels down to his level. Jesus didn't see himself as higher or more worthy than even a leper. In today's times, that might look like a homeless person, right? Would you ever sit down on a street corner, on a sidewalk next to a homeless person, listening to their story? That's the equivalent of what Jesus did in that scene. He reaches out, right? True, genuine love will reach out, and there's something about a human touch that can comfort somebody, right? And that can just really show them that, hey, I care about you and I'm going to help you. And the last two, he embraces and he celebrates. And this was a full circle moment for the man with leprosy, who can now be reintegrated with society. I mean, that was a big deal. This was a man who was casted out. Just before that scene, he was thrown out of the marketplace and, almost basically killed because of his leprosy. And so now he can be reintegrated back into society. And you see Jesus there celebrating with him and hugging him and offering him a tunic so that he can go back to the market and go back into town and reacclimate himself. Yes. This is the model of love we all must desire to implement in our lives. Amen? So, group application for this week here. So as you're talking in your groups, try to identify some real needs that exist maybe in your neighborhoods or in your local areas. Choose an action, assign roles that, if you're going to do this as a group where you can follow through together or hold each other accountable. And some examples on the right there. There are just tons and tons of ways that we can really show this love in action amongst ourselves and within our neighborhoods. And this is the message. If you truly love God, he is going to move you toward action. Your love will show it. All right, so here are the group questions. All of you know where to break out to, and hopefully you'll have some great discussion.